suppose this is ice cream market. In this market, we have supply and demand. Demand downward sloping, supply upward sloping, and both consumption and production of ice creams does not generate any externalities. And we know that the intersection point, let's call it E, is the market equivalent. Now let's say the government want to impose a tax on either on the consumption or production of ice creams. How should we incorporate tax into the supply demand diagram? The easiest way is to say that, okay, tax drive a wedge between supply and demand on the left side of the point E by the amount of tax rate, which means that the quantity of it will be, let's say this is 80, will be 80. Then go from 80 up to the supply curve, read out the producer price. So that's the price that producer received. So let's say this is $3.50. Go from quantity up to the demand curve. We can read out the consumer price. That's the price that consumer pays. So let's say it's $4.50. And without tax, the market equivalent is E. So let's say equivalent quantity is 100 and equivalent price is $4. Okay, so now we see that this triangle, this green triangle here, is the what we call deadweight loss. Okay, now the question is, what is deadweight loss? What do we mean by deadweight loss? In order to understand deadweight loss, let me take one step backward. So first, we need to recognize that this demand function actually tells marginal benefit to the consumer or private marginal benefit, and because there's no externalities, so this marginal benefit to the consumer is the same as the marginal benefit to the society, or is the same as social marginal benefit. Okay, what do I mean by private marginal benefit? Okay, let's say start from zero ice creams. Okay, on top of zero, consumer consume 1 unit of ice creams. The actual benefit to consumers go from quantity up to the demand curve with without the dollar values. This is 15. So for the first unit of ice cream, consumers are willing to pay $15 for it. That's the actual benefit they will receive. On top of the first unit, let's look at the second unit. So now, since consumers have already have 1 ice creams, their willingness or their actual benefit will receive from consuming the second ice cream is smaller. This is $12. So on and so forth. Okay, so this demand curve actually measures private marginal benefit, actual benefit of consuming extra 1 ice creams. And because there's no externalities here, the private marginal benefit is the same as social marginal benefit. Okay, let me erase this. Let's look at the supply. This supply actually tells private marginal cost of producing extra one ice creams. So it's marginal cost to the suppliers, and we call this private marginal cost. And because there's no externalities, this is also the same as social marginal cost. So producing one more ice creams, the extra cost to the suppliers, to the firms, is the same as the extra cost to the societies. For example, let's say this starting from zero. To produce one more, the first ice cream, the extra cost go from quantity up, without the cost. Suppose it is $2. Then on top of the one ice creams, the second ice creams go from quantity 2 up to the supply curve without, say, the private marginal cost, say $2.50. And we observe that this marginal cost is increasing, so the whole supply curve is upward sloping, and that's because of law of diminishing returns. Alright, so now we see that the supply curve and demand curve, the demand curve tells private marginal benefit, and the supply curve tells private marginal costs. So let's put them together now. Demand curve, supply curve, and that's the equivalent E. Equivalent quantity and equivalent price is $4.100. Okay. E is optimal. It's socially optimal outcomes. So E is the market outcome, and in this case, it's also socially optimal. How to see this? Let's start from E, for 100 ice creams. Let's consider, should the society produce the next unit of ice cream on top of this 100? That means 101. Okay, let's think. Let's have a marginal thinking here. Say, okay, for this 101 ice cream, what's the extra cost? Go from quantity up to supply curve without the marginal cost. So this suppose is $4.50. So for 101 ice cream, the extra cost of producing, or marginal cost of producing this unit, is $4.50. What's the extra benefit that consumers will derive from consuming this unit of ice cream? Go from quantity 101 up to demand curve without the marginal benefit, private marginal benefit, which is the same as social marginal benefit. Let's say this is $3.80. So extra benefit to the society of the 101th units of ice cream is $3.80. And now we see that extra cost is higher than extra benefit. So it's not good for the society to produce, to have this 101th unit of ice creams. So point is indeed the socially optimal outcomes. Okay, I'm going to go back to the main diagram now. Right. So now we are ready to understand this deadweight loss, this green triangle. To understand this, let's start from the 80s, 81st unit of start from the market outcome after the tax, which is Q is 80. So let's think. Let's think about 81st ice cream. Should the society produce this unit of ice cream? And we are going to have marginal thinking here. So we're going to think, what's the actual cost of this particular unit of ice cream? Let's go from quantity 81 up to the supply curve. Read out the actual cost. So let's suppose is $3.70. Okay. Actual cost. And what is actual benefit to the society? Go from quantity 81 up to demand curve, read out the extra benefit. Let's suppose it's $4.30. So now we clearly see that extra benefit is bigger than extra cost. The society would say that, okay, this 81st ice cream should be produced. But the market is saying that no, we won't produce. The equivalent with after tax equivalent will be 80. So we see that now there's a welfare loss due to the fact that 81st ice creams is not produced by the market. And similarly, we can go to 82, 83 until 100. Okay, add all these welfare loss up, we get these triangles. Okay, that's why this triangle is called deadweight loss. Is the net social welfare loss to the society.